internet, blowing out your eardrums possibly, since we have no internal monitors. It's the Non-Pro TV Party Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. review show, back again for its 4th season. Hooray! Woo! Yeah! I know you're all very excited about this, and by everyone, I mean literally everyone in the world. I know everybody's excited about this. Everything's different. Google Plus is effectively dead, or Pinterest now. Everything's on YouTube Live. The format of the show is changing slightly. If you want to be involved, I'm not pointing at the camera, there I am. If you want to be involved, you can be. Just leave a comment on this video saying something nice for a change, you jerks. I'm serious about this. It hurts. Yeah, we're going to be covering, I think we're going to do a little thing different on this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or this season of TV Party. We're going to do more than just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, we're going to broaden our horizon to other Marvel properties and possibly things from the other aisle. Yeah, that's right, Top Cow shows. Remember 90s? Remember Top Cow? Yeah, we do. All right, we are going to talk about, I hope the camera's switching back and forth because you don't want to just see my ugly face the entire time. But yeah, I'm Frank. I'm joined not at all in studio by Matt and Pope. Hi, Matt and Pope.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
And we are, of course, going to be reviewing the first episode of Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. entitled The Ghost. Everyone, like the least well-kept secret in Marvel television, that's a stupid sentence, is that Ghost Rider will be making an appearance in this season, and boy, did he make an appearance, like, immediately, which I am so grateful for. It was really cool. New time slot for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's another thing we want to talk about. And, you know, major shakeups in our cast. I think all these are interesting topics. Anybody want to bring one up right off the bat? Matt, do you have something you'd like to share?
I was just going to say it's, yeah, definitely the worst kept secret, or because it wasn't kept a secret at all. They're really focusing on Ghost Rider. They named the season Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
So they're really pushing it. And like you said, I'm really glad that they're bringing him right out. Not even a tease. Like they showed the full entire transformation, like first episode. They didn't have him appear in shadows or blurry picture. They have him full on.
Right.
Yeah, they straight up teased that though.
Yeah, I was impressed. I like it. I think that I'm so flat out. I really enjoy. I like what they're doing with the character, in that they're not using the Ghost Rider everyone knows. I know that sounds weird. Like sometimes if you bring over the second, third, fourth incarnation of a character, it's kind of a sign that you don't really have a lot of confidence in the character. I don't think that's necessarily true in this case. I think in terms of diversity, and in terms of just variation, giving us something new, it was nice to see this version of Ghost Rider on the screen. Great that we got their transformation first episode. And the one thing I wish I had, if it was kept a secret, I think I would have lost my crap at the mural scene when they actually name drop Ghost Rider. Very cool.
Yeah, I am happy. Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, yeah, I was just really happy with the way everything turned out. Really, it was just super fun and awesome and kind of, gritty and scary, which, you would get out of the time slot, which, we can, get to later. But it was just awesome, and as Ghost Rider should be, especially with that incarnation of the character.
And I think it's a fresher breath of air that we're not, we've been Inhuman heavy pretty much from the start of the series. There were season 1 was a little vague about it and what exactly these superpowered people coming forward are. In fact, it wasn't really Inhuman populated, but it wasn't really super powered creature popular heavy either. So we've been in deep with the Inhumans and their kind of mutant behavior. The idea that we're getting something from the other side of the table, tied in possibly with Doctor Strange, but more importantly, just something that the agents have never dealt with before. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see what they do with it. I'd like to talk about that segue into that 10 p.m. slot. Now,
yes,
Matt, you and I were talking, I think, on the thread in the fan club on our facebook.com/group/nonpro that we were worried that there's two different ways of looking at the 10 p.m. time slot.
Oh, you want me to go? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
Sorry.
I think that was for you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of concern, about the 10 p.m. time slot. For one, like the concerning part is that a lot of people consider it to be kind of like a death slot, like shows that they don't expect to be keeping. Um, but on the other hand, the idea that it's like 10 p.m. slot is like it's past prime time, but it's past like family viewing time, so they have a lot more leeway with what they can show, what they can do on the show. And I think after my opinion, after seeing the first episode, I think the reason for the 10 p.m. slot, is twofold. For one, they can get away with a lot more stuff now. Something like the Ghost Rider stuff, even if it's mostly implied, is pretty grisly.
Yeah, burning out your soul. That scene where the guy in the hospital is bleeding out seems like it's a little dark for what they would have gotten away with, maybe.
But on like the outside of the narrative sense, kind of like in the TV viewing sense, I feel like especially Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is very self-aware that a majority of their viewership is through DVR, through on-demand, through online, that kind of thing. I know, like, I follow some of the cast and crew of the show, and they always are very quick and like very clear to point out about how they appreciate the online and on-demand viewers as and how well they do in that area. So I think I don't think it's like they're aware that like they could go in this slot and they could get away with it, but also that it might not be prime time, but it might not pull in prime time numbers, but that's not.
It's maybe not
It's
important.
It's not necessary for them. Yeah.
I mean, I think we're pretty big fans of the show. Obviously, this isn't a show that generally hate watches TV in general. We're going to see if that changes when we start reviewing other products. But I feel like they are trying something different with this season. I think typically they do experiment a lot in between seasons on the show, and I feel like they might be going a little bit grittier, a little darker, I should say, in the kind of Marvel Knights line. This is a Ghost Rider scary scenario, but I also feel like they're gonna this is a good season to get back in if you jumped off earlier, because you're probably getting almost an entirely new show. It seems like you're familiar with some of the characters as a baseline is good, but just like when a comic series goes to a new line or has a new writer or whatever, the mood of the show seems to have changed dramatically. So to catch people up, in the last season or two, we found that Skye has embraced her superpowers as an Inhuman. She's gone rogue effectively. And the rest of the team has sort of been disjointed and recreated. Fitz and Simmons are an item, but that's secondary to the fact that they're both rising stars in New Shield. New Shield actually feels like a real organization as opposed to previous versions of New Shield, which just felt like an ensemble cast with a new ensemble cast tagged on. This is the first time we've seen Shield as an organization probably since early first season.
That's right, yeah.
Coulson is back to his I'm the best, cool agent, but I don't have the burden of being director when it doesn't necessarily fit. There is some mysterious director going on, at least mysterious in terms of what we've seen in the first episode. And the bureaucracy has firmly put its foot down back into this government organization, which I actually kind of like. I like that they're acting a little bit more like agents and there's sort of some culpability to what they say and do. I think that was a really fun, interesting twist to the show. Anybody else have, what are your opinions on the new Shield, the newest Shield?
Well, I mean, the one thing I was trying to remember, like, didn't they show the new director, like, briefly at the end of the last season? Like, wasn't there somebody that they showed, or was that, like, interim? Like, I remember there's somebody being in charge of Coulson, like, right at the end of the last season.
There was a teaser at the end of the last episode of season 3 that suggested that Coulson, and I think in May and Mac were, I think, looking for Daisy,
right.
And they could not find her, and they were referencing a director that was not obviously Coulson because of the way they're.
Yeah, you knew he was a field agent again.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's certainly interesting to kind of, on top of seeing everything change. It's almost like the whole hierarchy is literally upside down right now, because Simmons is like the highest ranking member of all of the original cast right now, as it seems. And like where she had that moment where she rubbed it in May's face, she's like, no, it's only like in most scenarios that I have higher clearance than you. Like, she wasn't trying to be mean about it, but she's like, I kind of have more than you, yeah. And with that whole awkward spectrum of authority or whatever it is that they have going on, which is the same way they're kind of treating it. But it's it's also interesting that everybody's kind of completely in their own world right now, it seems like, because Simmons is kind of floating up high in middle management, and Fitz is still kind of hanging out in the lab, and Mac and Coulson are out in the field, and May's kind of like with her own, I guess, cavalry now again still.
Yeah, it's almost like a restart in a way. Like, a lot of people are kind of back where they were, but or in either a better position than they were before, or less. I would almost say more realistic. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, the way Fitz and Simmons were portrayed at season 1 was like, they are the whiz kids. They are these, genius children that end up having like all the answers. Now it's like, well, you were geniuses that have all the answers. You need the proper clearance to do things. And I do like that. I like the fact that everybody kind of has, again, a sense of culpability. It's my 2 cents. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, even in season 1, like the whole entire formation of Coulson's team, it was always Coulson's team. They do what they want, and like they're their own independent group. Like, I think even with Coulson's Shield, this is the first time now that I think everybody is a part of something instead of being the something, I guess, so to say. Like the Fitz and Simmons isn't like science department. Like, Fitz is part of the science department.
Right.
May isn't the field leader, like the top field agent. She's a trainer, like training everybody else. That's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. So like, it feels like it is a sense of normalcy from a organizational standpoint. It's like, yeah, this is how like a super spy organization should work. But for like this show and this like kind of group, it's kind of like vaguely, like, I guess, foreign and kind of, I don't know, almost say like oppressing. Like there's like all the, like, they have so little room to breathe now, it seems like, and you can see the frustration on people's faces is like they kind of miss their independence and being able to do what they want to do, even though this is probably for the best that they're like this now.
Right. And there is a reason. I've heard lots of people complain about how unagently they behaved in the past, but there was a reason for that, right? I mean, it's the way we tell stories. It would make it very complicated and possibly even unenjoyable to watch actual field agents, compartmentalized field agents, dealing with things as an ensemble cast. It would be super frustrating. Half of them would not speak to the other half. So I'm wondering how they're going to move forward with this, because it started off with the whole, May slipping Coulson and Mac some information, but that can't keep up forever. That's going to be a little, and in fact, immediately it backfired. It did not work with them on this first episode. So I'm wondering if we're going to have some sort of MacGuffin come in. Hopefully we will, obviously, because it's a story, and that it'll somehow get the team more or less back together. what I want to throw out one. Actually, you know what? Before we do the little teaser, the last thing I want to talk about will be the Slovakia. No, not Slovakia. What are the Accords?
Sokovian.
The Corvia Accords. I'll just call them the Accords. Slovakia. I do want to talk about that at the end of our thing, but one last thing before we get to it, I lost my place because I started on the name of the Accords. Oh yeah, director. I know that this is sort of a given. Like people know who the director is going to be, and I just want to like toy with this for a while for us who aren't following every little leak, or not even a leak, but press release that comes out of Agents of Shield. My fan theory is that it will be Patton Oswalt's character who is the director of Shield, because it would be perfect. It would not be super menacing, because I don't want another menacing director. That seems kind of lame. It would not feel, I don't want someone totally new. I don't know. But also, I like the idea that the person in charge is well-meaning, but like maybe overly officious, like color coding badges and telling people that, well, we don't really outrank each other, but we totally outrank each other. I really like the idea. Plus, Patton Oswalt is amazing, so why not put him in it?
That would definitely be something his character would do.
I also don't think, given Patton Oswalt's situation right now, he would be on the show.
Yeah. But, a director doesn't have to
still
be distraught.
That's fair, yeah. Yeah. Although they're highly alluding to the fact that we're going to see the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D., though, given the name of the next episode, right?
Right. I think it was
Meet the new boss,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is literally for no one. This is for like the 3% of the audience who's like, oh, yeah, we didn't read the press release. Who do you think it's going to be, Pope?
I'm hoping it's an unknown almost, like, truthfully. I mean, like, I don't really have any thoughts. Like, I would love for it to be Patton Oswalt, because, I mean, he's great at everything he does, and I appreciate him a lot. But at the same time, I don't know if it makes sense, A, for story, B, for, his situation, and C, because even as much as Marvel kind of does everything so we know what's going to happen pretty much anyway, I still don't think that's what they're going to do. Like, doesn't seem like a Marvel thing.
Now, Matt, you do know, right? You've read
Yes.
you read the press release.
I actually keep up with the show.
Yeah. Now, in your opinion, before you spoil anything, would it be interest? Is it a character we know? Do you want to spoil it? Do you think not spoil? I know. Do you want to share it? Is it interesting? We'll warn people. You don't have to turn off the video yet.
Here's the thing. Like we have a face and like a name for the actor, but we don't have a character name.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's just he's just known as the director. Actually, we might have a character name, but at least I don't know. I don't think anybody knows if he's supposed to be somebody that might be familiar for comic book fans or Marvel fans.
So skip over the next 12 seconds if you really don't want to know. But and it's just the actor's name. Do you know what it is?
Not off the top of my head.
All right, then make it more than 12
Jason O'Mara.
Oh,
okay.
I was looking. Oh, didn't we want to?
Immediately. No. All right, so we don't. So it's not somebody we know, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Nope.
All right. So let's talk about the Accords.
Yes.
Woo.
I think it is, in my opinion. I'm hoping this isn't just fanboying. I like this level of interconnectivity between the Marvel Universe. I don't need everyone to watch my show to have watched every single movie that's sort of tangentially related. I just kind of need, because like I'm convinced if I had no idea what the Accords were, I knew that a bunch of government agents were talking about superpowered people and they were mentioning the Accords. I might not even know that the Accords are a rule that they affect the superpowered people specifically, but I know that things are different now. Things are tense. Things are difficult. They might as well be talking about the recession if I had no idea what the context of the story is. And it fits. I get it. I understand. I can move on. If you do know, it's perfect. It's like, oh yes, of course, somebody is actually dealing with this Civil War thing that didn't really seem to affect anything else yet. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's a good like backdrop, like a good like motivation for some of the characters. Obviously, it makes more sense why Daisy has gone rogue, on how she's on her own. Well, she wants to go rogue for many reasons, but like for like not being under the thumb of government regulation, fits her reason. Like really fits her reasoning to go on her own. The whole entire scene with Yo-Yo. I'm glad to see her back as well. I'm hoping she's a regular this season again. But her kind of getting a grilling from Mac, that like developing that kind of like tension between them. It's still like friendly, and they still obviously care for each other, but you could tell she was kind of getting very irritated at all the questioning she was getting from him, and the fact that like a little while later, you see her helping Daisy behind everybody else's back. Creates a nice little like sense of conflict between like the powered people and like the government regulations. I mean, like the Civil War movie might have ended and we might have gotten past the main Inhuman plot line from the previous season, but like there's still this air of unease and inequality between the two groups, and I think that could lead into some very nice drama.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do like the subtle pitting of humans, I guess, and Inhumans. I'm curious to see where it'll go. So I guess we have next week. Next Tuesday is going to be our chance to actually meet our new director. It'll be interesting, to say the least. I hope we get a big chunk. As much as I enjoy our big teaser of Ghost Rider, I want to see a little bit more of exactly why he's going to be a persistent issue for the agents this season, and I have a feeling we're going to find out next week. I'm pretty excited. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped.
Pumped.
Woo! Yeah, I'm happy that Max survived into this season. You know, he's kind of my favorite character right now.
Yeah,
and it's always kind of questionable because, you know, they kind of had a penchant for killing off people of his skin tone for a while. But yeah, no.
No idea what you're talking about.
Absolutely
Talking
not.
about the time he sort of turned to the stone? What was it?
Yeah, that was Agent Trip, yeah. And I was like, I still remember having Mac and him at the same time, and I kind of you kind of felt that they were going to off one of them. But yeah, you know, I'm happy to see where everything's going. It's fun. It's exciting. Like I said before. And it doesn't really seem like they're going to be killing us with cliffhangers this season, which, you know, kind of have been known for.
Sure. And Matt, you're excited as well?
Yeah, I'm obviously super pumped about this. Everybody knows that's watched this or listened to me on Non-Pro that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is definitely one of my favorite shows, or one of the few shows that I actually watch on television. So I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen. We have Ghost Rider, we have Daisy gone rogue, we have everything to do S.H.I.E.L.D. We might have like the beginnings of a tie-in with Doctor Strange with that weird Ark of the Covenant kind of thing, and that thing that like May's dealing with right now, as we saw in the stinger for this episode.
That's right.
So like where it looks like we're getting, we have the sciencey. Like sciencey superhuman stuff in season 1, then we have like the inhuman stuff, and now I think we're getting to the mystical stuff.
We haven't even talked about the life model decoys.
That's right.
And how we might be getting God, what's his name? Oh God, I forgot his name completely. Hive. He was possessed by Hive. Oh, I'm so tired. What? Ward, Agent Ward. Oh my goodness. You're already forgot? It's only been a few months.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if they'll ever bring either of those guys back, just because.
I would love to.
I really like the character of Lincoln, but it's like he was talking about in a bunch of interviews. He's like, I was kind of the plain white guy. I guess I was the obvious choice to kill off, considering the vast diversity of the way the show's going, which it seems like they're further embracing more and more as time goes on.
Good, very good. All right, folks, if you're interested in being on the show, comment in the video below. And if you're interested in us reviewing something else, leave that comment as well. I think I heard a bell in the distance. Thank you all for joining us, and good night. So subscribe. Yeah, that's right. That's what you're supposed to say at the end of a YouTube video. Subscribe for more. Like for less. That's not how it works.